All right, so this is a new 2018 Chevy Bolt Premier, all electric, and with about a 238 mile rated range anyway. Let's look at some of the features on the exterior. Here is the front camera. That's the camera you can use when you're going at low velocity, under 5 miles an hour, and for maneuvering. It's got a camera here underneath the rear view mirror, and as well as on the other side. That's for the Premier. Has a special feature above the LT model. It has a bird's eye view camera, so there's 4 cameras that allow for that. There's camera here, and this rear camera actually has a little nozzle there to spray off for if it's dirty. There's a nozzle up here too for the rear windshield wiper. It's got sensors for backup warning detection for collision. And let's take a look at the charger, the charge plug, charge receptacle. So these 2 conductors are for the normal level 1 and level 2. So that will, level 2 chargers, level 1 chargers. So that will allow you to charge at rates starting from 8 amps and 120 volts, which takes about 8 amps will take you probably over 70 hours, and 12 amps about 50 or so. With a level 2 charger, that's going to run at 240 volts. That's what distinguishes it as a level 2 charger. That will allow you to charge from 32 amps up to 80 amps. So that would be about 7 kilowatts at 32 amps, which is going to get you about 2 hours of charge time for 1 hour of drive time, or about 7 plus hours for a full charge. This comes with an extra feature. This was a $750 add-on. This is a DC fast charger input, and this will allow you to charge up to 80 kilowatts. So that's it's about an hour for a full charge using that. There's different power levels for those chargers as well. You can get a fast charger that's 25 kilowatts, which would be about 2.5 hours charge, and then they go up all the way to 80 kilowatts. So that's the exterior, and let's go ahead and take a look at the driving, how it drives. So this is the gear shift. It looks, well, it did look like it was flashing there. I guess the LEDs are on a pattern. You can't see it with your naked eye, but with the rastering, I guess, with the phone, it shows up as it's blinking. But to shift, there's this button here on the side. You push it up and over for reverse. Oh. There we go. Foot on the brake. And you get the bird's eye camera there, and your backup. So let's test this backup system detection with the collision detection, and it'll give me a audible warning there when I get too close. And then if I want to go forward, I hit the shifter again and pull back. That gets me into drive, and now I'm looking forward with my camera for tight maneuvering, and have to wait for that car. I get that camera as long as I'm going under 5 miles an hour. Once I hit 5, it goes back to the main menu. So there's two driving modes. This normal D driving mode will allow you, when you let go of the accelerator, it goes into a little bit of regen, but to do the regen you got to pull the lever there to get the regen from the front wheels. The other driving mode, which is really nice for, especially for city driving, is the L. Hold back twice to be in L mode. And once pedestrian gets out of the way, this is the one pedal drive mode, where unlike the other one, when you let go of the accelerator with your right foot, it does regenerative braking. So this is a lot easier to work with the paddle in normal drive mode. It's either on or off, but with the one pedal drive, if you pull back slowly, it'll slowly brake, and if you pull back off of the accelerator quickly, it'll give you your full regen, which is nice to have, especially for reaction time. That time that it takes you to move your foot from the accelerator to the brake, that's, you don't have to deal with that anymore, so you can really stop your car really quickly. So on the instrument cluster, there's a whole lot of information. You got your energy gauge on the left with the green there. That says you got 205 miles of range right now, with a max of 241 and a min of 168. And the little yellow strip on the left of that is showing me that my current driving, I'm closer to the min than the 205 average there. But as your driving changes, it's kind of like a running average. So it's like the last mile or two, how you've been driving, it affects that. You can see I'm using about 15 kilowatts, and when I go downhill here, that'll change to regen. So it's putting energy back into the battery right now. The little green car shows that I've got a car ahead of me, and the little car with a track on the side of it shows that it can sense the lane markings, and if I go too close to the lane markings, it'll turn orange and start to steer the car for me, to a certain extent. But yeah, and then here's the home screen. I'll talk about that in a little bit. You can also see how the air conditioning will affect your range. I've got the air conditioning on right now. Turn that off, and the range goes up. Turn it back on, and it goes back down. Other thing to note, the green ring around you kind of tells you if you're doing well with your battery usage. Like if you accelerate, that'll turn yellow, tell you that you're stressing your battery a little bit, and then it'll go back green. So here's the cluster menu that you can pull up. You can run through some vehicle info, current vehicle info, odometer, average for the trip, average miles per kilowatt hour, tire pressure, and the tire pressure gauges are actually radio devices, like pressure sensors hooked up to radio devices that transmit the actual pressure. I know some of the cars use tire rotation to determine if one of the tires is rotating less or more revolutions than the others. But average speed for your trip odometer, timer if you need one, following distance. It'll give you, based on your speed and the distance the sonar feedback gives you your following distance. Audio, you can change your station from your steering wheel, and of course you gotta, driving a Chevy Bolt, you gotta, or any EV, you gotta listen to lithium on Sirius. Well, there we go. Phone via Bluetooth. Layout gives you a couple of different options for the instrument cluster layout. And options you can change to kilometers instead of miles if you feel like it. Just for reference, this is a Nissan Leaf battery module. So about 5 foot long, maybe a little shorter. But yeah, this is the 30 kilowatt hour module, which is on the newer Leafs. This one over here is an older model. It's 24 kilowatt hour. You can see it's got its BMS in there. The base unit, I guess, is a 4-cell Panasonic versus the Chevy Bolt is LG. It's a 4-cell module, 2 series, 2 parallel, and I know there's some guys that take these out of the car battery and use them for little hobby projects, but it's a little 2 in series, so that's going to give you about a 7 to 8 volt little battery that you can use for hobbies. In the rear of the vehicle, you have the cargo area. Lift this up, that sets in those notches like that. These are the carpeted mats that came with the car. And down here you have your level 1 charger, which is runs off of a normal 120 volt circuit and will get you a charge rate of about 1.4 kilowatts, which is about 40 to 50, probably closer to 50 hours for a full charge starting at 0. So these are your level 2 chargers, which charge anywhere from like the 7 kilowatts up to, I think, 19 kilowatts. So that runs off of 240 instead of 120 though. It's providing AC input to the car via the SAE connector right there. The car has an indicator right there. It will flash up to 4 times. If it's only flashing once, it's low state of charge, and flashing 4 times is your highest state of charge, and then once it's solid green, it's at full charge. Also, if you go into your car, you will get a charge complete by estimation and your current range as well. Okay, of course I'm gonna forget about some of the more interesting features talking about charging, but let's look at these real quick. So energy settings, I believe, no, that's not what I want. Charging, so for the charger that comes with the vehicle, there is a setting here. It will charge at either of two rates here. I believe it defaults to 8 amps, but you got to set that to 12 amps for to get the fastest charge rate from a normal 120 volt 15 amp receptacle from your house. Energy settings, there's some really pretty interesting stuff here. So location-based charging, it has algorithms that will charge based on like a GPS location. So if you say, oh, I got demand rates that change, like some utility companies have demand rates based on the hour. So if you input that information, your vehicle will charge, essentially, or typically, I guess, it'll charge overnight. So when the utility bill is going to be minimal, drawing power off the grid overnight. That's how you can do your like location-based charging. And I forgot to mention here, priority charging. This is an input to the algorithm where it'll immediately start charging to get you to 40%. And once you get to 40%, it'll run the algorithm and start charging the battery to minimize the cost for your utility bill. Hilltop Reserve is what that is you can say I want to minimize, or I don't want to charge the battery fully. I just want to charge the battery to about 90%. So if I have a charger on top of a hill, I get to be able to recover that potential energy. When you start coasting down a hill, you can recover that energy into the battery. So that's kind of a cool feature, I think. And the other cool thing to mention is the radio power down. So when your vehicle is on, it'll turn the radio off when you get to either 2% or 4% state of charge on the battery, just to make sure that you don't have, when you get close to empty, you could say, you don't have that extra power draw. So fair warning, this video is going to get more and more boring and more detailed as I go along. But here's what you get from your OnStar service. You can get monthly updates telling you diagnostics and stuff. So tire pressures. And this actually gives you a lot of information I couldn't find anywhere else on just details on the vehicle and the engineering design. Where's the electric drive unit? Tells you about how instead of an alternator, you have this accessory power system that keeps the 12-volt battery charged. Gives you information on how the stability track works with, I guess, both, anti-lock braking systems and like active braking systems. If it detects the vehicle is traveling in a unintended direction, how that'll actively apply brake pressure to get your control back. So I guess we'll look at the under the hood next and kind of see what differences there are between this kind of system, this kind of battery electric vehicle versus internal combustion engine vehicle. So just real quick with the key fob, there is a physical key you can pull out of the key fob. And to gain access, if your key fob battery is dead, there is a little slot here. You can put your key in, pop off that little plastic piece, and lock, unlock without having a key fob battery. And let's take a look under the hood. There are some differences here. There's fluids here. You got your windshield wiper fluid. this coolant here in the left side under the hood is your vehicle compartment cooling, and you're gonna have here is your battery, your motive battery coolant fluid, your high power distribution here for your charger and your regenerative braking. It's gonna run through this here. This is your accessory power module, which keeps the 12-volt system alive. And this is the third coolant. There's 3 cooling loops. This coolant is for your accessory power module. And here's your 12-volt AGM battery, lead acid, that's gonna be able to like power your vehicle systems when the system is off. You're gonna have your motive battery is going to be disconnected through relays when the vehicle is powered off. So this is how you get power with your AGM battery to be able to start the vehicle up and close the relays so that you can drive the car. And here is the fuse box for the 12-volt system. You also have a radiator, which I'm trying to see here, but there is a radiator system, so all those coolant fluids, I assume all 3 coolant loops go through the radiator system, but I could be wrong about that. And here is your hood latch. So to open up your hood for your Bolt, you need to go in and below and push to the right. This is the interior of the car, and again, this is a Chevy Bolt Premier, so it's got a few extra features than the base LT model. But you got your interior dimmer lights here, auto parking lights, and like lights, driving lights. And with this model, you also get the IntelliBeam here, which is your brights. When it senses a car is oncoming, it'll automatically dim the lights for you, which is nice. I haven't tried driving at night yet. I only had the vehicle for a week right now, but that seems kind of cool, I guess. You have like a normal 12-volt accessory there, little compartment there. You have your electronic parking brake, and this is an auxiliary input, 1/8 inch jack, audio jack for the entertainment system. And I have the infotainment package on this car, which means I've got 2 USB plugs here for charging, and as well as there's 2 in the rear passengers as well. And this slot is the wireless charging, 1 amp wireless charging. The battery, or the phone, does get a little hot when I put it in there, but yeah, it definitely works. It definitely is faster than like a 500 milliamp USB plug on a computer. And you got this cool blue trim lighting here. The center console has a removable compartment there, regular glove compartment. You have oh yeah, look at this. We have our collision detection system, where you can, I'm not brave enough to try this while taking a video, but it'll give you a collision detection warning between going 5 miles an hour to 50 miles an hour. It'll actually do active braking to avoid a collision. Here's our main menu. I guess I should go to the home button here. Our main menu, which kind of has two top menus, which is a little weird. So like your energy menu is a kind of a separate menu, and then your top menu here, camera system. Let's see. Settings. There's a whole heck of a lot of settings here. Radio settings. No. It's not there. I was looking for something else. But, vehicle settings. So here's some of the features I was talking about a little bit earlier. Front pedestrian. So this will provide active braking for if you want to have active braking if a pedestrian is detected in front of the vehicle going between, again, 5 and 50 miles an hour, and you can actually turn that off, which is a little weird. I guess, I don't know, maybe there's a reason that you'd want to turn that off. So yeah, there you go. Lane change alert. So on the rear view mirrors, you'll have that little icon there that will tell you when somebody's in your blind spot, which you can turn on and off. Let's see what else. Devices, you got your 4G LTE. You can connect through a radio tower to provide a Wi-Fi hotspot for up to 7 devices. With this, I got my Samsung Galaxy connected right now. KeyPass, you can use your smartphone to there's a My Chevrolet app which you can use to basically, it's a key fob with a couple of extra features, so you can remotely start your vehicle from basically anywhere. You get a Wi-Fi connection. Wi-Fi. So this is the Wi-Fi that's a part of the car. So that's my Wi-Fi name. And let's see what else I can find in a little bit. So let's take a look at the energy menu for a second. It does give you kind of a score on what your driving style, if it's good or bad or whatever. So driving 89%, climate settings, pretty obvious. Battery conditioning, if it's very cold or very hot, it'll turn on. It's actually got a alternating current. It does have an inverter on board actually that produces alternating current for a coolant to be able to cool the battery when it's hot, and it's got a DC high power heating element to keep the battery warm, because when you're below 32 Fahrenheit, your battery efficiency goes way down. And your efficiency history, so this is 50 mile since your last full charge. It gives you your efficiency history every 5 miles. So it does really well in city driving because of the regenerative braking, but when your vehicle speed increases, it gets less fuel efficiency, I guess you could say, because of wind drag. You get a score based on your driving technique and outside temperature as well, and your climate settings. So if you want to get the most out of your efficiency, you can get some feedback there. You have your environmental controls down here. You do have heated seats for the driver's side, for the passenger side, and there's actually heated seats for the rear seats as well. You got your OnStar up here in the top, and for the rear view mirror, this is really pretty cool. I haven't figured out how this works yet, but if you pull this lever back, you get an actual camera picture of the rear of the vehicle. If you got an obstruction or something in the back of your vehicle, you can use that to have a camera on the back of the vehicle, which I think is pretty cool. And I don't know, I think that's it. So that's my Chevy Bolt, and I don't know, what do you think? I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, they'll be getting cheaper and cheaper. Here coming up, I'll show what the tax incentives are for the federal tax incentives for EVs, just in case you're in the market. This is the U.S. federal tax credit that you can get for when you buy a new electric vehicle. So what this is the first for any OEM: General Motors, Nissan, Tesla, Ford, Toyota. They keep track of how many electric vehicle sales there are. So this is the latest numbers I could find, which is the start of the year. But once General Motors hits 200,000 vehicle sales, you get the $7,500 tax credit for the next 6 months after that, and then it gets cut in half for the next 6 months, $3,750, and gets cut in half again, and then it totally goes away. But it's set up for each OEM. Once they hit 200,000, that tax credit starts to be phased out. So if you want to buy, now's the time. Although, I mean, you could wait as well if you want an electric vehicle, because with economies of scale, batteries being more and more mass produced at a higher scale, the price is really dropping on them. So they do say, there's a Bloomberg report that says electric vehicle sales are the total cost of ownership for an electric vehicle is going to be the same as an internal combustion vehicle by 2025. So the market's really going to start changing towards electric vehicles in the future. But for now, for the time being, you can get that federal tax credit. You just have to turn a special form in on your taxes when you do your taxes in March or April. So yeah, I'll be getting that $7,500 back, and be able to invest that in something cool, like another vehicle or something. I don't know.